Your dog looks at you like you're the center of the universe. But if it ever came down to it, real danger, real stakes, would your dog actually die to save you? Science has an answer, and it's not the one you're hoping for. Here's what we know for sure. First, the love is not just in your head. Scientists put dogs inside an MRI scanner, the same machine hospitals use to look inside human brains. They fed each dog a series of smells: food, a stranger, another dog, and then your scent, just your scent. And in almost every dog tested, that one smell lit up the reward center of the brain more than anything else, sometimes more than food. Their brain didn't just recognize you, it celebrated you. But smell was only the first clue. When you lock eyes with your dog, something chemical happens in both of your brains at the same time. You release oxytocin. So does your dog. That's the same hormone that floods a mother's brain the moment she holds her newborn for the first time. And it doesn't stop at one release. You look at your dog, oxytocin rises. Your dog looks back, and it rises again in both of you. Scientists call this a positive loop. Your dog's brain is wired to bond with you the same way a parent's brain is wired to bond with a child. That's not a metaphor. That's biology. There's more. Researchers studied how dogs behave when they're separated from their owner in a strange place, then reunited. And the pattern they found matched something psychologists have measured in human babies for decades. A test originally built to study infant attachment to a parent. Some dogs showed what's called secure attachment. Calm when you're near, confident enough to explore, but clearly distressed when you disappear, and visibly relieved when you return. Others showed anxious attachment, clingy, unsettled, never quite convinced you're coming back. Your dog's brain is running an attachment system built for a parent and a child. And you are the parent. Even your dog's stress hormones move with yours. Scientists measured cortisol, the hormone your body releases under stress, in dogs and their owners over time. And in many pairs, the levels rose and fell together. Not identical days. Similar days. When your stress climbed, so did theirs. So the bond is real. The chemistry is real. The love, by every measure science has, is real. But does love mean your dog would actually die for you? This is where the science gets uncomfortable. Researchers ran an experiment to test exactly that. They put an owner behind a closed door and had them fake distress, crying, calling out for help, sounding trapped. Then they watched what the dog on the other side would do. Some dogs pushed at the door, pawed at it over and over, barked without stopping. Real urgency, real panic, not for themselves, for their owner. But here's the part almost nobody expects. Most of those dogs never actually opened the door. Not because they didn't care, because they didn't know how. The desire to help was there. The ability wasn't. And that changes the whole question. Would my dog die for me was never really a loyalty question. It's a capability question. A dog can love you completely and still have no idea what to do when it matters most. So, what about the dogs that do act? The ones in the news, pulling an owner out of a burning house, standing between a family and an intruder, taking a hit that was never meant for them. Those stories are real. They happened. But there's a pattern hiding inside almost every one of them, and it's not the pattern people assume. Look closely, and most of those dogs had training. Police dogs, guard dogs, working dogs bred and raised for exactly that job. Their brains weren't just full of love. They were full of a rehearsed response, a specific action wired in through repetition, long before the danger ever showed up. Untrained dogs, in the same kind of emergency, often freeze, or run, or bark helplessly from a distance, the same way the dogs at that door did. Not out of cowardice, out of not knowing what a body is supposed to do when the world falls apart. Which brings us to the part of the brain that decides all of this in the moment it actually counts. Deep inside every mammal's brain, including yours and your dog's, sits a small structure that handles fear. It doesn't wait for permission from the thinking part of the brain. It reacts first, and it reacts fast, because for most of evolutionary history, hesitation meant death. That fear circuit doesn't disappear just because a dog loves you. It runs whether or not there's a bond in the room. In a genuine life or death moment, self-preservation is one of the oldest, strongest signals a brain can send. Loyalty doesn't erase that instinct. It competes with it, which means the dogs in those hero stories didn't override fear, because love is simply stronger than survival instinct in general. They acted because, in that one specific second, for that one specific dog, the bond won. Not every dog gets that outcome. Not every situation allows it. And no one, not scientists, not you, can know in advance which way it will go for any dog until the moment actually arrives. So, would your dog die for you? The wiring for it is there. The same reward circuit that lights up for your scent. The same bonding chemical that floods a parent holding a newborn. The same attachment system built to keep a child close to the one who protects them. All of that exists, right now, inside your dog, pointed at you. But it was never really a question of loyalty. It's a question of whether love, in one single instant, can outrun fear, and whether your dog has ever been given a reason or a chance to find out. Most dogs never will be tested that way. And maybe that's the real comfort in all of this. The love doesn't need a burning building to prove itself. It's already there every time your dog lights up at the sound of your keys. Every time its whole body relaxes the second you walk through the door. That's the same circuit. Just never asked to do something extreme. And if your dog's brain is wired that closely to yours, syncing stress, syncing bonding chemicals, treating you like something closer to family than owner, it raises a stranger question. One that might be even harder to sit with. Does your dog know when it's about to lose you? That's what the science says next.